Just don't take. There we go.
Here we go. I thought I'd show you up there, but it didn't work out.
Okay. Let's do that again.
Sure.
Samuel Gelstons, 25-year-old Irish single malt, is distilled at the Bushmills Distillery in Northern Ireland, and actually distilled by my mentor. The person that first taught me about making whiskey was at Springbank Distillery, a guy called Frank McHardy. And Frank is a bit of a legend in the industry. He's been making whiskey for over 50 years. He's a Lifetime Achievement Award winner from the Whiskey Advocate. And he ran distilleries in Campbelltown, Islay, Speyside. He ran a single malt distillery and a single grain distillery at Invergordon. Wow. And he also ran Bushmills in Northern Ireland. So prolific. So Frank distilled this 25 years ago at the Bushmills Distillery. Oh, wow. And then we didn't retire him, he retired.
Yeah, you don't kick him out.
But we managed to bring him back to mix these casks together.
Keep going.
And he worked...
While you're doing that...
Yeah.
I'll put that in the shot.
And the...
Thanks, man.
So the owner of the Gelstons brand is a guy called Johnny Neal, who is a descendant of Samuel Gelston. Oh. And it was pretty common at the time. So basically, as was the case with George Wilshire and Black Bull, with Johnny Walker, with Arthur Bell at Bell's Whiskey, they were grocers. And so distillers tended to be very good at evading the law and not getting caught. They were all illicit distillers, but they weren't marketing guys, they weren't distribution guys. And it was grocers in these towns, so Johnny Walker was in Kilmarnock, and they bought from the distillers and they created their brands from their shops. So Samuel Gelston was essentially a grocer in Belfast, in Northern Ireland, and he owned his own brand that he sold from his store. And as with many Irish brands, it kind of got swallowed up during the 1930s, 1920s and 30s, Prohibition in America, getting independence from the UK and all the things that happened in Irish history. And a lot of Irish brands disappeared, and so his, I believe, 5th generation descendant has now revived the Gelstons brand. Wow. And managed to get Frank to come out of retirement to mix these casks together. So a very limited release. We only get 600 bottles, and it's at natural cask strength, so it's 52.4% alcohol. So what do you think you can smell?
Well, I get, it's so good. Vanilla, like the oakiness, and then definitely some caramel, I think, kind of.
Well, see, this is going to be one of the things my experience in the whiskey industry is the power of suggestion. So basically, when I stand up in front of a room full of people and do a tasting like this, people will pick up oak and sweetness, and then I'll suggest what I smell, and immediately the whole room, that's exactly what I smell.
My gosh, me too.
So with this Irish single malt, I get tons of mango, papaya, banana peel,
yes,
grapefruit notes.
Oh,
it's like, you know, a Dole fruit cup.
Yeah,
it's like it's
like a fruit cup.
It's melon, except the cherry. There's always one cherry, and how do they always get one cherry in there?
Like the canned cocktail that you used to get in school.
Exactly.
No, you're right. It does smell like that syrup, like they mix that syrup with some.
Yeah, exactly. The fruit syrup with this vanilla spicy oakiness. I just think this is an absolutely tremendous whiskey.
Can't wait to taste.
And have a taste as well.
Okay, so you say Slangibor, I say Slangibor.
So Slangibor.
Slangibor. Oh. That is lovely.
On you go.
I do taste the fruitiness that you're talking about. I didn't smell it so much, but now that I taste it, I mean, I did smell it. Power of suggestion again.
Yeah.
But it's really there in the flavor.
I think that doesn't always happen. There are a lot of times when we're nosing, when we're picking single casks, sometimes we're going through 40, 50, 60 samples at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's,
as you do.
For work. And there's a lot of times, what you Definitely what you smell doesn't necessarily translate onto the palate. And there's other times you don't smell things, but then when you taste it, you know, your nose is much more astute at finding individual flavor components. Your palate doesn't tend to have as you know, as big a range of flavors that it can detect. So, so it is quite unusual for that fruitiness to come through on the palate as well.
Does it for you?
Yeah, it does absolutely. But again, it lingers just that sweet fruitiness, and it's one from personal experience. If you leave this for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it evolves as the alcohol evaporates. The flavors change. They change over time. The hard thing is leaving it that long.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. You see, I drank my entire thing.
Yours went straight down. See,
you had a little bit left over, and I was like, well,
I was just being polite.
Did that wrong. You're very polite. I'm very impolite.
So, yeah, beautiful 25-year-old Irish single malt. This is just a little snapshot of what we do. You know, we import or we bottle hundreds of casks a year. You know, so for people that are always looking for something new,
it's like a Crayola box of Scotch.
Yeah, and
right?
we only get 100, 150 bottles a cask. So
that's how many crayons are in a Crayola box.
Is it?
No, I don't know. I made that up.
I have no idea.
No, it's amazing. It seems like each one is very special. There's a very small lot that comes out, and I wish I could try them all. Maybe I will.
We could just do like an advent calendar series in the run up to Christmas.
Oh my God.
One a day.
Best Christmas present ever. Okay, well, thank you so much, Peter, for coming and explaining these and for drinking with me. And well, it's bad luck to cheer on an empty glass, right?
Oh, we can fill it up again.
I mean, if you insist. Make sure you comment down below and tell us which one you thought was the best, or if you've tried any of these, which ones you enjoyed, which ones you'd like to try. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.